How's it going, you guys, and welcome. Your morning cup. We start today off with major disaster news coming out of Texas. Now, Texas has faced temperatures as low as minus 18 degrees this year, and that has been rather devastating for the people of Texas. The lowest it's ever been in the past 30 years. The infrastructures in place regarding water as well as electricity were not at all braced to deal with temperatures this low, dealing with, drastic across the state water cuts as well as electricity cuts. Now, the power grid could not cope with the measures that were in place regarding the temperature drops, and the pipelines, water froze in these pipelines and resulted in the structural integrity of these pipelines being compromised to the point in which there were numerous pipelines that were literally burst open across the regions of Texas, as well as numerous other subventures that were leading pipelines into the state of Texas. What this results in is the fact that more than 7 fatalities have been recorded because of sheer temperature drops. President Biden has officially put out a statement dictating the fact that a state of emergency will be declared in Texas, citing that a major disaster, the likes of which the Texan people have not witnessed in terms of temperature, has taken the state by storm. Also, people have cited the reasons for this drastic drop in temperature as climate change and global warming being the most primary reason for the temperature drops and the temperature changes, the likes of which we could not comprehend until we witnessed them firsthand. Is just merely evidence to the fact that there is a new wave of climate coming, a new wave of climate that we haven't experienced before, the likes of which we aren't used to. Now, places that were warmer, places that never experienced temperature drops as such, are now witnessing temperature drops that are affecting infrastructure, that are affecting lifestyles, that are affecting cattle, that are affecting every aspect of the economy, every aspect of social structures, every aspect of people's lives. We also understand the fact that more than 180,000 houses are without electricity and running water. Upwards of 1.2 million people have been affected by this on a grander scale. Well, even though the electricity is slowly but certainly returning, water wars are still under ginormous strains in terms of not having access to running water. Also, stores have been wiped clean with all of their resources, dictating further pressure onto the regular people as bare essentials are off the shelves. With no transport being let into the state because of horrible conditions on roadways, we understand the fact that Texas is now facing a disaster the likes of which we can't comprehend. It's been cut off from the rest of the United States in terms of its resources, and now with the National Guard stepping in as well as federal scale efforts to provide relief to the people, we can just hope and pray that everyone living in Texas is safe, everyone living in Texas is warm, and have at least the bare essentials to keep them alive through at least the next few weeks. The temperatures are set to rise according to forecasts, but it's anyone's guess if these are actually going to be the difference makers. We move on to the fact that Canada has officially announced that it might go into another complete lockdown. Canada is announcing fears of a third wave of the coronavirus, considering the fact that there has been a drought of vaccines. Now, Canada has been importing vaccines from India on numerous occasions and now is looking for a new, fresh dosage of coronavirus vaccines all the way from India. But what we understand is the fact that Toronto, as well as a few neighboring provinces of Toronto, are under the most strain when it comes to coronavirus because of the sheer number of people that are living there. Also, because of the new variants of the coronavirus that are running rampant throughout Canada as well as the northern United States, what we understand is the fact that lockdowns might just be prevalent, with Toronto and the neighboring provinces already being under lockdown till March the 8th. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has officially put out a statement dictating the fact that if healthcare officials as well as the regular person do not take the extra effort, do not understand the severity of this pandemic and things that are required to keep it at bay, we're looking at lockdowns, the likes of which are only comparable to the initial onset of this pandemic. We move on to the final story of the day, and the final story of the day is about Guatemala. Now, with the seismic activity rising across the globe on numerous spectrums, we understand that earthquakes and volcanic eruptions are rising on a pace that are rather concerning. Also, we have understood that these epicenters are getting closer and closer to population centers. Now, with Guatemala having 3 of its most active volcanoes erupting at the same time, we understand that hundreds, if not thousands, of people are at risk. Rangers have officially dictated the fact that if all 3 volcanoes are erupting and if things get worse, entire communities might get wiped clean, and there is no way for survival. There is nothing that they can do to save the people because 3 volcanoes erupting at the same time is going to have a huge impact on Guatemala itself. Without even talking about the fact that on an international scale and on an international climate accord scale, this is going to be one of the most devastating impacts considering the sheer amount of soot that's going to be thrown into the air. Three volcanoes erupting at the scale at which they are, also with the seismic activity ramping up at the scale at which it is. Experts are citing concerns that this might just give rise to supervolcanoes being next in line for eruptions. Now, we all are aware of the fact that if supervolcanoes start erupting, we can best believe that the Pacific Ring of Fire might just start erupting. And if that starts erupting, we can best believe that what might come next is going to be, well, not good, for lack of a better terminology, to keep things rather civil and not incite fear. We understand that people are on top of this. Experts and geological departments across the globe are keeping very close eyes and close measures in place with the data reads, as well as international monitoring efforts are currently underway to monitor both active as well as passive volcanoes. When it comes to super volcanoes, one can best believe that we can only hope and pray that one of these does not erupt, because the scale of an eruption of a super volcano is going to level out entire continents. With that being said, we understand that there's a lot developing in the world, with the Princess Latifah of Dubai and the new story that was put out by the United Nations dictating the fact that proof of life should be put out by Dubai and the royals stating that she is well, as well as North Korea having more defectors than ever before, with China and Xi Jinping dictating the fact that the international media should tell the side of China rather well and not, well, criminalize it in terms of an international aspect. Two, the earthquake in Fukushima resulting in new water damage at the Fukushima nuclear plants. We understand that disasters are running rampant across a scale in the middle of a pandemic, the likes of which we cannot comprehend by sheerly standing aside and reading a few news articles. What we need to do in terms of the global onset of things is to stay on top of it, stay aware, stay in the know-how. And for that, I suggest that you stay tuned to this space for everything that the world has to offer. We will keep you updated. But until then, this has been your morning cup. I'll see you tomorrow.